Do you find it hard to ask for help? Are you always doing things on your own? Sometimes we can become too independent. We feel like we're stronger if we do it ourselves, but there's actually strength in community, and it is okay to ask for help. My name is Angela Cleary. I'm a feminine empowerment coach. I specialise in healing after narcissistic abuse, and I also offer twin flame and spiritual guidance. This is the thing. We become actually hyper independent because we've been doing things on our own for so long. We just get used to that. But we also feel like we're stronger if we don't need to ask for help. But I find what happened for me anyway is that I was actually getting weaker because I wasn't letting people in. Because this is the thing, if we don't ask for help, if we don't ask for support, if we think we have to do it all on our own, this is because we have this barrier of protection up. It's this energy of, whether you're conscious of it or not, it's the energy of, if I don't let people in, I can't get hurt. And I didn't know this for a long time. I thought, because I'm an advocate for independence. I love independence. It's so important because we do not want to be codependent on others. That's so important. But you can still ask for help without becoming dependent on another person. We're here to support each other. We're all really going through the same things. We're all collectively going through the same energy. So we're all just walking each other home. And you don't have to take that walk on your own anymore. And, for me personally, it got so bad for me. I was always the giver. So I find it very hard to receive help. And yes, I would accept it from maybe family or close friends. But then when I had to, I suppose, walk away from people in my environment, my walls got thicker. My barriers against people was just I can't let anyone else in again, because if I let somebody in, I'm going to get hurt. And I suppose I wasn't conscious of this for, obviously until I did a bit of introspection and healing. But that was the reason. I wasn't that I didn't need help. It was actually because, I was like, I can do this all on my own. It's the energy of, I don't need anybody, because you've been hurt by so many people. It's like, I can do this on my own. I don't need anybody. And it's like this energy of, if I don't let somebody in, I can't get hurt. And that was it. I was completely closed off. And I forgot the power of community. I used to have it before, but then with my relapse and with that energy of those heavy walls around me, I forgot how important it is to receive help. Because, I can give help, but can you really give as fully as you want to give if your heart is closed? And this I noticed back in December. I realized my heart was closed. I've said this in other videos. I had a kind of a one-way system in my heart. I could give love, but I couldn't receive it. But it got to the stage where I was getting so used to not being able to receive it that my heart was actually effectively closing fully. And I couldn't give as much love as I wanted to give because of that energy of fearing being hurt. And I did a video called Don't Let Your Heart Turn to Stone, and it was effectively like that. It felt like my heart was going to close up so much, and I realized it was because I wasn't allowing people in. And I realized it was because I was afraid to be loved, which, because I felt love was unsafe, because I've been hurt so many times, not just by romantic relationships, but friends and family members as well. And it was like, I felt, is it not safer for me not to let anybody in? But it actually frightened me because I'm such a giver of love. And I got to the stage where I was like, oh my God, what if my heart closes so completely that I can't give anymore? And that was my wake-up call, because I was like, I'm okay not receiving it. I'm okay on my own. But what if I can't give it anymore? And I think that's the effect that it has. If we don't let people in, our heart is shrinking in a sense. That's effectively what's happening. Our heart shrinks and gets smaller and smaller because we forget what it's like to have that kind of love and support in our lives. And we as I said, we go into this hyper independence energy, and we believe that we have to do everything on our own. And this is another thing as well, and I've done this myself, I've only noticed it lately, is that, you're so adamant that you're going to do it on your own, but then you procrastinate, or you don't have time, and you don't have the energy, and if you don't ask for help, it doesn't get done. So all these things are piling up around you, and you know, if you just simply asked for help, it would have been fixed. And that's the thing. And you know, for me personally, I was just so hard to receive help. Even if somebody offered me help, I'd have been like, no, I'm fine, I can do it myself. No, I'm fine, I don't need that. You know, and even lately, a friend of mine, she offered me help with my landing page and stuff. And I was like, my initial old thought came in, and I was like, I don't really need this yet, do I? And I was like, maybe I'll do it later. Maybe I'll get back. You know, my first thought was, I'll text her and say, I don't need that right now, but I'll get back to you when I do. And that would have been my reaction before to something. And I was like, I probably would have never gotten back to her. Do you know? And I was like, that's the old energy. Don't look the gift horse in the mouth. If somebody offers you something, if somebody offers you help, accept it. You know, it's okay to accept it. And I accepted it, and it was really helpful and really supportive. And it just, you know, it helps me to remember how important support is. And like, you know, I'm part of a lovely coaching community now as well. We meet every Tuesday, and all of us are sharing ideas, all of us are sharing tips, all of us are supporting each other. And it's so beautiful. And it's just like this warm hug energy all the time. And it's like, it just really reminds you of the strength and the power of community, you know, and the strength of the power of helping each other, but the strength and the power of receiving help. You know, since I started opening my heart again to friends and, you know, my community, my coaching community, I feel stronger, because I was actually getting weaker and weaker and weaker the more I isolated, and the more I refused to seek help or to ask for help or to receive help. You know, I was effectively just more, I was getting weaker and weaker. My heart was closing up more and more. I was effectively just shrinking. And, you know, we think it's weak to ask for help. It's the most strongest thing you can do. Being vulnerable or asking for help in any aspect of your life is really, it takes power. It really does, because we're in this independent energy. We think we're strong behind our walls. But as I said, we're actually getting weaker and weaker. And in not asking, we're losing that strength. And that's what I discovered. Like, I'm so much stronger now that I've received that help, or I've accepted that help. And it's so nice as well. You know, people do it. Like, I remember when I was still very closed off, somebody said to me, people want to help. And I was just like, do they? You know, and I know I want to help, and I know people do want to help. But I was just so in my bubble. I was in that hermit mode for so long. I was like, really? Do they? And I'm like, you know, because what was with me for most of my life as well is that I didn't want to be a burden. And I think that's a thing that we all have as well, is that we're afraid to be a burden. We're afraid to ask. You know, we're afraid, oh my God, you know, I better not ask, you know, I don't want to put you out, like, you know what I mean? And like, in fairness, as I said, people actually want to help. People want to be asked for help. You know what I mean? And I love this as well. I can see this with my friends, like, you know, I'm always helping them. And, you know, I can feel the energy if I ask them for advice. It's like, yes, I get it. It's like they're in the energy of, yes, I get a chance to help her back. You know what I mean? So it's like, it's genuinely, it's people do want to help, and you're not being a burden to them. They're actually excited to help you back, to return the favor. And it's not about, you know, giving to, you know, in order to receive. We're not doing it that way, but it always comes back. You know, if you help somebody, something will turn around and end up giving back to you. And I think that's so beautiful. And as I said, we're not doing it. I remember somebody saying to me years ago, I only help people if I know they're going to do it back. Like, I'm like, you do not do that. You help, like, you know, if you know somebody can't help you, you still help them. You know what I mean? And even if you help the person who refuses to help you, because it's just the way you are. Like, as far as I'm concerned, I do not want reward, or I don't want to be given anything back. My reward is in seeing the satisfaction in another person's face. You know, being able to light somebody else up, to be able to bring somebody else happiness. But when we do that, we end up receiving it as well. But you see, it's so important to be able to receive. You know, and I think in a way, well, for me anyway, I've seen that it's actually selfish not to receive. You know, if somebody offers you a gift or offers you help, they're doing it out of the kindness of their heart. And if you say no to them, that's, to me, is an insult. You know what I mean? In a sense, it is, because you're not accepting their compassion. And, you know, obviously, if we're wounded and stuff, we're not doing it on purpose. We're not like being selfish on purpose and saying, I don't want your help. You know, but we have to remember that people don't offer unless they want to offer. People don't give unless they want to give. So instead of thinking, oh, I'm being a burden, or I shouldn't receive this, just say yes and say thank you. It's the simple thing of even a compliment. Like, I've spoken about this before. Before I healed, somebody offer you a compliment and you're like, no, don't be ridiculous. Or, that's nice stuff. Oh, yeah, I bought it in this really cheap place. It's only $5. This is what we do in Ireland anyway. Like, somebody compliments you, you're like, you downplay it. But, like, it's like receiving a gift or receiving help. We downplay it. It's like, no, I'm fine. I don't need your help. And it's just like, just take it. If somebody offers, they want to help. They want to be of service. They want to look after you. And, I think for helpers anyway, we find it very hard to be the helpee. We really do find it hard to receive any kind of support. But I'm starting to appreciate it more, and I'm starting to when you're in the independent energy and you're like, I don't need anything. I'm fine. I don't need it. You find it hard to actually admit to yourself, maybe I do need a little bit of help here. And I think it's, that's okay. I think that's one of the things that I suppose I had an aversion to, saying that I needed help. You know what I mean? I don't need anyone energy, And now it's like, it's not about, you can say I need help without it actually being a weakness. You know what I mean? Like, sometimes you can't do it all on your own. And, maybe you can do it all on your own, but it's okay to not do it all on your own. It's okay to have help, and it's okay to make life easier for yourself. You know what I mean? When we drain ourselves, we overwhelm, we get so depleted trying to do everything ourselves. And it's just, what is this energy? And I've seen this with managers, and I think when I became supervisor as well, like, it was very hard for me to tell people what to do. And when then I actually started asking people, that was the difference. Do you know what I mean? And it was hard for me at the start, but you have to do that. Like, because when I was a general operative before I became a supervisor, I just did everything on my own, and I never asked for help. It was like, it was so frustrating. But that's why I became supervisor, because I really worked hard. So, like, to go from never asking for help to literally having to delegate the work to the workers, and as I was a supervisor, that was difficult for me. But, like, it's the same when it comes to our lives. Like, do you know what I mean? We do not have to do everything alone. We really don't. You know what I mean? We really don't. And I think, as I said, everything gets left on the back burner if we say, I have to do it myself, or I need to do it myself, I don't need anyone. We end up having this pile of fucking shite to do, and we never get the time to do it, because we're like, I have to do it all on my own. And then you don't get time to do it all on your own, and then it never gets done. So, like, that is why it's so important to lighten the load. You know what I mean? And that's, like, it's beautiful. If you have someone help you with your things, everything gets done. Then you have time to help other people with their things. And that's the beauty of it. That's, like, energy is I don't know, contagious. I don't know what the word I'm trying to think of here. But, like, literally what you give out, you receive. So the more you give, the more you receive. But you need to be, I keep coming back to this, you need to be allowing yourself to receive it. If you don't receive it, how are you supposed to give? It does go both ways. It's like, how can you give more if you're not open to receive? Your heart is closed, so how are you supposed to give to your full potential? Unless you open it to receive as well. So this is what it is. It's so important to remember we're actually stronger together. We really are. The support network that we can have, just even the simple thing of helping each other, like, alleviate those stresses. You know what I mean? I had such, I suppose, I had a little bit of, I still have struggles with tech. I'm still very new to certain technologies. And to have my friends support me with my landing page made it so easy. Just her support and her encouragement and showing me what to do, I was able to do it really quickly. But if I had tried to do it on my own, it still wouldn't be done, because I would have just overwhelmed and I would have stressed. So the simple thing of receiving help there helped me to overcome a fear, but also helped me to do the thing quicker. So isn't it just better to do it that way? And not only that, it just feels warm and fuzzy. You know what I mean? That warm hug energy. I keep saying that lately because of my support network now. It's that warm hug energy. And it's just like, it's so nice to have that. And it's so nice to finally admit, I won't say admit defeat, but admit the fact that maybe I do need a little bit of help. And that's okay to admit that. I don't have to do it all on my own. And that's something we have to remember. You're not in this alone. We're all walking the same path. People are doing the same things that you're doing, and they can help you. And then so some of the things, like the thing is, I love this about my community, my coaching community. Like I might be 1 or 2 steps ahead in this section. Another person might be 1 or 2 steps ahead here where I would be a little bit behind. The next person might be a few steps up here but might need my help, and this person might need this help. You know, it's all intertwined. We're all in different stages, but we all have maybe a little bit of strength in one area where the other one would need a little bit of help. And then the next person will have strength where I might need a little bit of help. So that's the beauty of it. Like that's the beauty of helping each other out, or, you know, accepting that support. You can give them something they need, and they can give you something that you need. So never think that you're a burden, because you're actually helping that person with your gifts, and they're helping you with theirs. So it really is that so beneficial just to just admit to yourself that it would be easier if I had a little bit of help. And I don't have to do it on my own. And you don't. You really don't. Any kind of support that you need, it's there for you. And people want to help. And being the helper our whole lives it's a hard transition to become the helpee. But you know, and we get too into our hyper independence. But just remember that you're not alone in this world. Everyone else is walking the same path, and we can all help each other out. So thank you so much for listening today, and I really hope this resonates. If it does, please like and share, and please subscribe to my channel so I can reach as many people as possible. And if you would like help on your journey, please book me for a free discovery call today, and I'd love nothing more than to help on your path. Also, I'd like to mention that I am doing my first webinar on Friday the 8th of August at 6 p.m. Ireland UK time. I'll be speaking on healing after narcissistic abuse, inner child healing, inner teen work, and shadow work. Hope to see you there. If you need any information, just comment below or comment on my community post. Thanks.